I would like to share something with you about spiritualism. This comes from Arthur Conan Doyle's book, The History of Spiritualism. Now, I know within spiritualism, everybody talks about Margaret and Kate Fox and the wrappings and everything, but there was actually an event several years before that, between 4 and 5, if I recall correctly, in which the Quakers first experienced the communication with these spirit entities. And this was in Rochester, New York, which is not was not too far from Hydesville. If the Hydesville were still in existence today, it would probably be a suburb. That's how close the two were. And you've got all these people sitting in church, and Reverend Irving is giving his talk, and then and all of a sudden, you have people that are speaking in tongues. Can you imagine the reaction that may have taken place? He describes the events, the words, as ancient chants and possible recollections to the early Christian churches, where such things were part of the message that they were bringing to their people. You know, he writes that spirit communication was something that was practiced in the early churches when they were first developing, before they began to become organized. Now, I haven't done any research to support that, but it does present something of interest. And eventually those utterances that they were listening to they were beginning to be understood by the people, and they were believed to be, and this is how Conan Doyle suggests it, that that they were chastisements and reproofs of church doctrine. So can you imagine how some of those people felt? They're being told that what they're doing is not exactly correct. And Doyle suspects that if these demonstrations were of spirit origin, the views of the congregation and those used as mediums may have been so narrow that the messages brought forth were held in contempt. And this just goes to remind others that spirit is as good as the vessel that it is working through. And Doyle goes on to say that such orthodoxy, when faced with revelations or challenges outside of their comfort zone, creates a disturbance. In fact, one member is quoted as saying that it was the curse going through the land, quenching the Spirit of God by the letter of the Word of God. Can you imagine the uproar that this may have had within the traditional churches of the time? And as with any mixture of staunch supporters of doctrine and those yearning for something more, you've got conflict. And eventually, Reverend Irving led some of those followers out of the church and into some of the halls there, where he continued to give his lessons. And before these spirits, I don't have it in my notes here, but I know it's there. These spirits that were coming through were Native American Indians. So when you are given a message by someone and they begin to talk about your Indian guide, that is possibly where they are getting this from, because they were the first ones to come through the veil. Why, I have no idea, but that's just as it is recorded with Arthur Conan Doyle.